Let us move to the next slide and let us now discuss what you call pardoning power, reprieve, what is this remission, what is this respite, all these provision. Let us now discuss. So these are the 5 tools that is available at President's disposal whenever he or she receives any kind of mercy or clemency petition, right? We already had a glance over all these words, right? These are pardon, these tools are nothing but pardon, commute, remission, respite and reprieve. So these 5 tools, President can choose to exercise any of the tool whenever they have this mercy petition. And when I am saying that President can choose to exercise any of the tool, what I essentially mean is that it is not discretionary power of the President, right? He will do so with the act and aid and advice of cabinet. So again a repetition that it is not a discretionary power of President. He is bounded by the aid and advice of what you call cabinet, and especially Ministry of Home Affairs, because Ministry of Home Affairs have all the information regarding the convicted and sentenced person. So they are the right people, they are legally equipped to deal with this situation or to have all the information. So their advice is very important as far as President's clemency power is concerned. Let us understand that what is the difference and what is the meaning between these meaning of these tools, right? So the first one is your pardoning tool, right? So pardoning, let me tell you, pardoning is one of the strongest tool available to the President out of all these tools. So if President decide to exercise, and when again I am repeating that whenever I am saying that when President decides to choose this tool or that tool, right, again this is not discretionary power, right? So if President decides to have this pardon, to pardon any of the convicted person, right, what it essentially means that the person, the convicted person will be completely absolved from all the charges, right? His conviction will be freed, right? He'll be free from sentence as well. I hope you know the difference between conviction and sentence, right? We already have discussed. Just for a revision, sentence is nothing but quantum of the punishment. So suppose a person has been subjected to 20 years of the rigorous imprisonment, so that 20 years rigorous imprisonment is sentence, while the status, whether he is guilty or not, that is conviction. So if a person is pardoned by the President, what it essentially means is that he will be free from conviction as well, and his sentence will also be gone, right? So he can walk like a free man out of the jail as if there was no FIR ever, there was no case history. So all the case history as well will be gone of that man, right? So he is like me or you, right? Death sentence can be, next information is that death sentence can be pardoned only by President and not by governor. So when we'll study, so governor also have all these power of pardoning someone, of what you call commuting any punishment, right, remitting any punishment, all these powers, all these tools that you do have. While there is slight difference between the pardoning power of governor and President, right? So when we'll see the governor's power, when we'll see study this governor's power, we'll have a better comparison and better clarity, right? So death sentence, if of any punishment, for any punishment, death sentence has been awarded, does not matter whether it was by state law or by union law, right? If death sentence was the result, right, the death sentence cannot be pardoned by governor. The pardoning means completely absolving someone. So completely means governor can use other tools, he can commute. So rather than completely absolving from the death, he can do what? He can just convert that death into what you call rigorous imprisonment, right? So that governor can do, but he cannot completely absolve someone if the result is death. He does have pardoning power. Again I am saying we'll have a better clarity once we will be dealing with the governor's power, but as of now just remember that if the result is death sentence by any of the punishment, right, governor cannot outrightly pardon him, right? The death sentence will not completely go, right? So that is the difference between pardoning power of President and governor, right? So death sentence can be pardoned only by President. Governor can't pardon capital punishment even if the death was awarded by the state law. So you have this Maharashtra government law, and Maharashtra was the first state government to bring this law that if any girl below 12 years of the age, days is subjected to gruesome brutality. I hope you know the meaning of gruesome brutality. Let me not use those bad words. So if a girl is subjected, if a minor girl below age of 12 years is subjected to gruesome brutality, the accused person will be given capital punishment. So here the capital punishment was because of state law, right, not union law. So if any person is awarded death sentence by this state, Madhya Pradesh State High Court, due to this law, even in that case, governor cannot pardon that death sentence. The death sentence, if has to be pardoned, will be pardoned only by the president. I hope you do have clarity over this sentence. He can commute the death sentence. What is the meaning of commuting? The changing the nature of what you call punishment. Means he can change the capital punishment to the rigorous imprisonment or not rigorous imprisonment. So he can change the character of the punishment, but he cannot altogether pardon, right? So I hope you do have clarity over this pardon, right? Let us move to discuss this commute tool. So if president chooses to exercise this tool, what will happen is that in this tool, right, the character of the punishment or character of sentence is changed. How? So if a person had been convicted for the death sentence, sentenced for the death sentence, his death sentence can be changed into rigorous punishment. If some other person, some other convict had been sentenced to rigorous punishment, his sentence can be changed to rigorous punishment, so simple punishment, right? What is the meaning of that rigorous punishment? That, do you remember that old 90s movies where Amitabh Bachchan or any other villain has been arrested into jail and he is breaking stone, making that participating in construction of road, right? Although that kind of activities does not, today's jail manuals does not have that kind of activity. It is simply like giving some kind of employment in library and other things, right? So that is the rigorous imprisonment, right? Nowadays those concept of breaking stones is not available. The meaning of this commute, again, if I repeat, right, the character of the sentence will be changed, right? So death sentence, if had been convicted, right, a convict of death sentence would be awarded, their death sentence would be reduced to rigorous imprisonment. If rigorous punishment has been given, it can be changed to simple punishment. So here what you are doing is, what president is doing is that he is changing the character of the punishment. So I hope commute is also clear to you. Let us move to discuss the remission. So in remission, the character of the punishment won't be touched, right? So if the person has been convicted to what you call death sentence or say rigorous imprisonment, so rigorous imprisonment, it will remain. Means if you are working, if you have been employed in jail to work and has been assigned some work, right, you will have to continue doing work. But what relaxation it would be extended by using this tool is that the punishment, the quantum of punishment may be changed. So suppose 20 years rigorous imprisonment was there, right? So the 20-year rigorous punishment can be reduced to what you call 10 years or what you call 5 years, right? To a 20-year rigorous imprisonment to 15 or 10 or 5 years. So here the character is not being touched, right? In the previous case, in commute case, the character had been touched, where death to rigorous imprisonment to rigorous imprisonment to simple imprisonment, right? So the character was being touched in the previous case. In commute case, here without changing the character, if a person has been subjected to the rigorous imprisonment, it will remain rigorous imprisonment, just the quantum of punishment. So 20 years is being changed into 15 years or 20 years may be changed into 10 years. So that is what this remission does is. I hope you do have clarity over this tool as well. Let us move and discuss the third tool, and that is respite. So in respite, if there is any special circumstances, if there is an old man of 92 or 94 years in the jail, right, he already have served like 20 years or 25 years of punishment. He was subjected to, like, award was of 30 years rigorous imprisonment. Now he has become very old, very feeble man, and his character throughout his 20 years or 25 whatever he has served so far, right, has been quite good. His track record that has been collaborated by various jailers in last 20 years. So if that kind of certificate is awarded to any person, that yes, his character throughout this jail period 22 years has been very fine. Now he is old, now he is aging, right, and now he wished to die. Almost he is in situation of death, right, in next 1 or 1.5 years because of his ailing health, right. So citing that ground, right, that person can be granted what you call this respite, right. So in respite, the person can, okay, let him get out. So considering that if there is a pregnant woman, right, so these are what, these are some special circumstances, and considering their back record, right, they can be given some kind of relaxation. So that is what respite does. Respite means किसी को आराम देना, अगर हिंदी में मैं बोलूँ तो, right. Next is reprieve. So reprieve is actually nothing but a temporary stay on execution. So suppose day after tomorrow a person has to be hanged, right, and if president exercise, so suppose this mercy petition in president office is pending, and the situation is such that president cannot take a quick decision, right, the file has just reached the office, right, and he needs to take time to look into the merit of the case, right. So in that case, because the person has to be hanged tomorrow, right, day after tomorrow, right, so what he'll do is he'll issue this reprieve order that, okay, as of now just put a temporary stay while I look into the merit of the case, whether this person should be hanged. So for that brief period, that reprieve order will be issued. There can be other circumstances. So suppose there is a pregnant lady again who is supposed to be hanged. Now the situation is that if that pregnant lady is hanged, there will be loss of another life as well. So for 3 months or 4 months, whatever period of pregnancy is pending, right, so for that period again that reprieve tool can be used by president. So here Rashtrapati Sahab in Hindi again, right, Rashtrapati Sahab ka आदेश है, रोक दो ये फांसी. In films you would have seen, right, suddenly means person is ready to be hanged, within a minute the jailer is to give an order कि yes उस पुली को खींच दो, and suddenly some man pops up from somewhere, right, and says रोक दो ये फांसी, right. So that kind of thing this reprieve does, right. So I hope you do have clarity over these 5 tools, right, pardon, commute, remission, respite and reprieve, and the difference between these tools, right, what these tools does is, right. Let us understand few factoids that are related to the pardoning power, and I am again emphasizing that this pardoning power, especially this year prelim, in the backdrop of that Nirbhaya convicts hanging, is very important. So every fact that we are going to study, make sure that you do keep these things in mind. So